Oh wow. Well, we're live now.
Too late.
Too late. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Good
I'm
weekend.
doing well.
I'm so
Good.
busy. I mean, as you can
Good.
see.
Yeah,
clearing.
the swag wall is a shell of its former
It
self
is
back
a
there.
shell
Yeah,
of
it
its former
is.
self. It's all in boxes. It's all.
Are those just ones that you have a hard time finding room for, or are they like your favorites that you're leaving for last?
No, it's just sort of the way things sort of went as I was
He's-
cleaning stuff off. You know what I mean?
He's saving
I haven't.
them.
I've got another shelf like over in that direction that hasn't been touched at all. So yeah, it's really just a matter of me having a process. Like this thing that I'm in front of right here, there's a whole thing above that, and that's all cleared off too. So yeah, it's a lot, dude. Let me just tell you, this file cabinet over here was full of comics bagged and boarded, and then I had shelves full of comics that were not bagged and boarded. So it was like 8 boxes, like just regular small moving boxes for all the comics that were in the book in the file cabinet. And then I went and got short boxes, and it's a dozen short boxes of just loose comics. I mean, and that's we're talking about toys, That's just one aspect. So yeah, I easily have the most shit
So Adam just
out
sent a
of everybody
message
in my family.
saying that he's having technical difficulties.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he'll show up. Tell him to keep trying.
We were shit talking him for nothing.
Yeah. All right, so we'll do segment 1, whatever we did this week, entertaining. We do have some news. Image Comics Union, we'll talk about that for a little bit. That's fun. Some more supply chain issues that have come about. And then a big year for a 50-year-old character in 2022. There he is. Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, I got
Howdy,
it.
Slide you guys
howdy,
around to the normal spots. Food news. We got a double dose of food news and a review.
2 reviews.
Oh, 2 reviews. I only have images for 1 review.
Yeah, he drank 2 of those god awful concoctions, I think.
Disgusting.
Oof.
No moment of destruction this week. Not even
Yeah.
toys.
Yeah, well, it's because all the books came out last week and we took the week off.
There is a teaser about the next 2 waves of the G.I. Joe Classified, and Dusty is rumored.
What?
I'm definitely getting Dusty. And Tomax and Zaymont are rumored.
Oh, snap.
Oh, if they're Target exclusives, I'm going to be so pissed. But then we'll do top 3 in a very, very light week. I mean,
it's a struggle to come up with a top 3 this week.
I only got 5 books this week, so I'm going to talk about all of them.
Oh, that's cool. This is, I think, the first week since we've been doing this new revamped version this year where I don't have any Marvel or DC in my top 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
That's surprising, really.
It's all Image this week. So that's it. Anything else? Anything you guys want to add to
I did go see Eternals.
Oh, that's a segment 1.
Hey.
That's a segment 1 talk.
Yeah.
I got that in segment 1.
I will save my questions for you. I was actually planning on going to see it after this podcast.
Okay, well, I hope I can answer them for you.
I heard it sucked. Let's do the show.
Oh, let's do the show now.
Let's do the show now.
Oh, yeah.
It certainly does suck.
Yes, it does. We strive for mediocreness. I have learned that Transformers definitely pack well in their alt mode, which I think is very ironic.
Oh, yeah. You definitely keep their pieces together a lot better when they're all.
Well, I got a whole...
It's like Tetris.
Greetings, geeks. Welcome back. Another episode of this Geek in Comics Outright Geekery's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
Comer, Adam, Normal, Taylor, aka David. This is just one bag of peripherals. There's
That looks like Optimus Prime's rifle.
no, that's 6 shots.
It's a lot of
gun.
peripherals.
6 shots gun. Yeah, I got a lot of shit in there.
David.
There's
idiot.
a wheelie in there. You see wheelie in there.
Oh, I see Wheelie in there.
He
hanging
doesn't even
out.
deserve to get packed with the rest of the Transformers.
No, he
He's
does.
such a bad Transformer.
got-
But
What's
it's the
his name
it's the
in there,
wheelie
too?
that rides on Grimlock, right?
Yeah, it's not the Transformer wheelie, but I do have a couple of minis in there. I got like a Piranacon or whatever the fuck they're called, the snake, and I also got Rung.
Oh yeah.
One of my faves because they're
Yeah.
small and they fit in
Rug's got to be in a special spot.
there. Well, he's in there with all the guns because he's technically a gun. Anyway, how's it
Well,
going?
Rung has a special spot in Gomer's heart.
He does. Well, he should in every Phase 2 Transformers fan. Rung definitely holds a spot, and you can't spoil that. If you spoil that, it's totally bad. But anyway, yeah, let's talk Eternals first for a little while. I did not see it. I don't see movies in the theater anymore. I think theaters are a fucking ripoff. I don't care how big the movie is. If I could enjoy Dune on my 60-inch TV at home.
Okay, Gomer, I'm going to cut you off from your little tirade here, and let's just move the fuck on. Anyway,
There's
anyway,
gonna be a lot of that. I'm just ramping it up.
I will report that I don't think this movie sucks. It's
okay, there you go. A raving review.
It's a mid-tier MCU movie, I think, is the bottom line. But
Well, that's the norm now, isn't it? Isn't that the last 3 of them?
No,
Shang-Chi was
is,
really
like,
good.
pretty good.
Okay, okay. I'll know in a
like-
week when it comes out on Disney Plus.
Me too.
But anyway, this movie did have a lot of heavy lifting to do because it's a very big cast. Like all of the
Sure.
Eternals get their screen time, and these are all brand new characters, so they have to introduce to us. So considering that, they did a pretty good job. They structured the narrative where we're like constantly switching back and forth between present day and like various centuries past, where the Eternals have been kicking it around.
Was that a little was it jarring or was
No,
it
I think they did it pretty well.
Okay.
Like you could follow the story pretty well, and like you revealed like little tidbits of their past at like a good pace to like keep us like the asynchronous nature of it wasn't all that bad.
Yeah.
Does
I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong. I think they
It's
tried
not
to-
all that convoluted. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
in
I've
fact,
heard-
because like
Yeah.
they don't interfere unless they're deviants, and we have never seen deviants before. So pretty straightforward reason for
It's
why
like
we've never seen
Watcher
them.
syndrome, this all-powerful motherfuckers who can't do shit. It's
That,
like
that doesn't necessarily make it a satisfying reason, but it's
Exactly.
pretty straightforward.
Exactly.
It's simple to follow.
it's not satisfying at all because it's like your biggest weakness is built into your story, and it's not even really a good reason. There's
Well,
nobody
I
gonna
would
stop
say that
them
they
from-
do a lot with that. They do a lot where the Eternals do have this turmoil over whether or not they should interfere. So
Yeah.
they do use it as storytelling potential.
That's not terrible, I guess. But still, I mean, how they do still interfere though. That's what I hear. Like that's part of the story is they do still
interfere
in
when,
like
like-
major ways.
Not
But like
really.
all undercover, like in the cut.
Okay, well, I guess that is true that like Phaistos apparently does like give them like a plow at one point to use, but
Yeah, he basically creates society, is what you're saying.
but
Right? Right?
they did specific. Okay, so I guess I should be
Industrial revolution,
I
that's
should
what-
be fair in saying that they were not allowed to interfere in conflicts, is what they specifically
Oh.
said. So it's a valid fucking reason, you
No,
piece
I
of
agree.
shit. Anyway,
no,
let's
I
move
agree.
on.
I think because this is what I'm hearing from people that it does have these sort of paradoxes built into the story, and they're saying it brings it down. I'm saying every fucking comic book character ever is a paradox. That's the only thing that, unless they're the Punisher. The Punisher is and Captain fucking Planet. Okay, these are the only 2 superheroes who are not paradoxes. Captain Planet's weakness is what? Pollution. What does he do? He wrangles up 5 little kids and goes and makes them fight. Pollution. That's rational. That makes sense. Thanks for stopping by, Andy, by the way. Punisher. His family got killed and he wants revenge. Everybody else has all these little rules that they apply to themselves that, I mean, this was one of the themes of Watchmen. They do have these rules applied to themselves, but their rules change after generation. They change their own way of going through things. And I don't know. I haven't
anyway,
seen the movie. I'm hearing that
circling.
this is,
Yeah, so shut up. Anyway, so circling back to Eternals.
Yeah.
I thought that the characters had decent chemistry with each other. It was pretty well acted across the board. The action scenes were really cool. Like they really embraced, they really embraced like these characters as being analogs for the Justice League. Like I don't know how
okay.
they
That's
even
weird.
mentioned like, oh hey, you're like Superman. No,
No.
I don't wear a cape. Like they actually name drop Batman and Superman in this movie,
Wow,
which is
so
kind
the
of interesting.
What?
the DC universe exists in the Marvel Cinematic
It's
Universe.
they have the
That's funny.
they have DC Comics in the MCU apparently.
That's
Wow.
like
But
that's like that one movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where it like he was
Last
the
Action Hero.
last action hero, and like
Yeah.
Terminator was Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
that is kind of interesting.
Well, that's
but
cool.
so I enjoyed it. I
middle
will
of the
also
road,
say, yeah, pretty middle of the road. There was a lot of like exposition they had to fit in, and so that always makes it like, a bit of a slog to get through to an extent. But the action scenes were pretty good. I did enjoy the movie, and it did have a twist to it that I was actually surprised by, which is not something I can always say for MCU movies.
You're talking about the after credit scene, the post credit scene?
Nope.
Oh.
I'm talking about who the actual villain of this movie is.
You mean the ancient creators of the universe? Those
No,
guys?
dumbass. But either way.
Well, no, spoil it. I mean,
Okay.
No, I'm about to see it.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Aw,
David's about to see it. I'm
man.
trying to be considerate.
Oh man, I don't.
Thank you.
David
Thank
earmuffs,
you.
and I can say it if you want.
Yeah,
Nah, don't. Hold on.
yeah. Go away for 10 seconds. So we
Okay,
can-
hold on. Go.
I already heard the spoiler, so
I thought
it's
I
fine
had
if you
to.
say it.
Go ahead, Taylor.
Is he
Spoil it.
gone or
He's
Okay,
gone.
whatever. All right, fine. Icarus is the bad guy.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like the Eternal, like the one that if you know any of them, he's the one you know. And I was surprised, just kind of from a meta standpoint, that he ended up being the villain of this movie.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, the post
David,
credit scenes were just whatever. Like they introduced Eros and
Man, Star
they
Fox is
introduced
okay.
the voice
Do a
of
barrel roll.
Blade. But yeah,
Do a barrel roll.
yes, he's Star Fox. Anyway,
I've been watching Yellowstone on Peacock because Peacock comes with. A
Okay, I see
subscription got.
Yellowstone is back on there, so
So
I
I
guess
could
we're done
watch,
talking about it.
yeah, we're
So I
done. It was
actually
super
watched
exciting.
Halloween Kills. I'm almost to the end of season 2. It's basically Sons of Anarchy with Montana cattle ranchers.
Actually,
Kevin
my folks
Costner.
watch this a lot. This is actually
It's-
a pretty good series.
It's dope, dude.
Yeah, it is
I mean,
pretty dope.
it's what you expect when I compare it to Sons of Anarchy. It's
Yeah.
it's
Like-
not the best. They're not going to
like
win
one of
Emmys.
my favorite interactions
Sons of
was with,
Anarchy did win Emmys, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have.
one of my favorite scenes from this series was when this bus full of Chinese tourists come up and
Yeah.
he was like, "Get off my land!" And it's like, "Well, where's is this all your land?" He's like, "No, everything you see around here is my land." They're like, the Chinese tourist is like, "No one should own that much land," and he was like, "Oh yeah," and he pulls out a gun and starts shooting in the air.
Yeah, and
Get
he's
the
like, "This
hell
is
off my
America. We
property."
don't." He's like, "Well, this is America. We don't share our land here."
Yeah, sounds like a
so-
real dick. Wow.
Well, no. All right. This is the whole synopsis. Kevin Costner's character, right? He's the patriarch of just this huge ranch in Montana. It's like the size of Rhode Island. His ranch. So that comes with a lot of power, right?
Mhm.
So they're like a fucking cowboy gang defending their individual property rights. Okay. And they're doing that against like Native Americans who want to expand the reservation. The reservation like butts up against his land.
and build the
There's-
casino. There's
yeah,
that
there's-
developer guy.
Yeah, there's land developers who are looking for a piece of the American dream. The government's trying to protect ecology. Tourists want to enjoy the country. But all of that sounds like really idealistic. No, everybody on this show is a fucking asshole, dude. I mean, everybody.
And the
They're
guy,
just complete douchebags.
well,
all of them.
the dirty looking guy with the cowboy hat and
No,
the brown jacket.
Everybody
he's-
got a fucking cowboy hat in
he's-
this show.
he-
Okay,
well,
even
this-
the women
in
are
this
wearing
picture-
cowboy hats.
in this picture, that guy right there is probably the most decent of the
On the
bastards.
left.
Yes. On
No.
the left.
Dude, are you kidding? You have not made it farther in because he literally murders a guy in like
He
the
does.
4th episode, like in
Yes,
cold
he
blood,
does.
just blows his fucking brains out.
But the guy, the brother in the suit, is a snake. The girl,
he's the most
she-
intriguing one. That brother.
the girl
who's
is the most
lawyer.
intriguing one.
No, she's shallow as hell. She's
Oh yeah, but she's
stuck
the
at
one that
14 years
she's the
old.
one that
Anyway,
she's
we can
gonna,
get
like,
into
to
the
protect the
minutia of
dynasty.
it, but it's dope. It's great. What has everybody else been doing? You should watch that show, Dave. It's good.
I watched it.
You didn't watch all of it.
Not
or
all
you
of
would
it.
know, or you would be where I am.
I've watched episodes, so I know about
Yeah.
the
I've
guy
watched,
getting
like, 2
shot.
episodes,
You know
Gomer.
nothing.
Yeah, you know nothing. What have you been up
Uh,
to, Adam? What'd you do?
Oh, nothing much, man. I've just been hanging out reading
Never do
comics.
Shit.
Nope, never do anything fun.
Dave, what's up? What do you have anything going
I
on worth talking about?
I ordered myself an FDM 3D printer, and I'm waiting for it to get here.
Nice. What
Uh,
are you gonna make with that?
all kinds of stuff. Wargaming terrain.
You know what I need? I need to actually learn how to make some sort of terrain. I want to do like a diorama for my GI Joes. When I
Oh,
move.
that would be
Oh, there you go.
very.
That would be fun. Yeah, that'd be
Actually,
cool.
you could do that with like right now. You could do that with like styrofoam and a foam cutter and some paint. Yeah.
Listen to you. I'm not like the nerd fucking
Also,
Rachel Ray or whatever.
I also watched the first 3 episodes on Netflix of the League of Legends Arcane.
Oh, is that any good?
Oh shit, that is great.
Yeah, I'm not into League of Legends.
I'm not into League of Legends too, but they've crafted a really well thought out story here.
Good.
I just want to make sure I understand your recommendation. Are you into League of Legends, David?
No, I am
No,
not.
but
into
I
League
watched
of
their
Legends.
anime and I love it.
All right, so someone could go in not caring about the game and still have a good time then?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
I mean, I have a light familiarity with some of the characters.
I don't know anything about it. I know it's a game where you fight people.
I know it's a MOBA, and that's about all.
I'm not even sure.
I know it's a game where a lot of toxic people go to scream at each other.
On that note.
On that note,
I feel like you didn't narrow it down at all, Adam. I mean, that's like so many games.
Yeah, like every fucking game.
A bunch of toxic teenagers.
I'm down on video games. I want to play
10-year-olds.
Forza 5 so bad, and I can't. I have no way to do it. Anyway, Image Comics has formed a union. Now, this is not the creators. This is just the administrators. You know, the pencil pushers, the desk jockeys, the
ones who don't need to have a union.
Well, okay, that's right, Dave. That's right. But don't start off being angry yet, okay? They would be the first comics publisher to unionize if this happened. Something that the industry has been trying to do for 50 years, right, is get people in the industry unionized. Now, again, this is not the creators, but these folks, you know, once they're able to form their union, because now it's going to come down to the vote, we'll have leverage, you know, and we'll be able to stand unified with, you know, other creators or the creative side to, you know, get things done. So, I mean, I have a long list of their demands, you know, more competitive industry, being able to talk about, you know, who's making what and where, company culture, you know, transparency.
I can kind of agree with the company culture in the way that, you know, we have the
Well, I
toxic
agree with anything. If
masculinity in
workers
that.
want shit, I'm all for it, right? None of their shit that they're asking for is outlandish shit. You know what I mean? It's just basic stuff. What do you mean yet? What do you mean yet?
Yet.
Well, why don't we cross that bridge when we get there and talk about the good things? You don't want to? All right, so
what are some of the good things?
So Image Comics did reply, okay, with this word that they're going to do their thing. With this,
fired,
saying, yeah, you're all fired. So there's two things that could have happened here. Image Comics could have released a statement just like this, saying that we're going to let our people vote, and if they do vote, yes, we're for it. If they vote no, whatever, we're for that too. Or they could have just said, yeah, we accept the union as it is. You guys don't need to vote, because, you know, if you're working for a company that has a union, nothing can force you to join that union, you know, unless it's like mob shit, you know, but we're not going there. Yeah. But it is in your best interest to join a union. So I think this is a solid move for the industry.
Well, you know, it is interesting that it's happening at Image, which is, you know, originally founded as a workers' revolt.
Yes.
Originally.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Which is why the reply sort of came as a surprise to some people, that people would have been like, oh, well, this is something where, you know, woke ass Image. This is something that they should have, you know, jumped right in, you know.
Well, they didn't say no, though. And most.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Most corp would straight up say no. And
well, no, they're not allowed to say no. They're not allowed to say no. They're not allowed to say no. You're not allowed to vote. But like Dave said, they could have just fired everybody.
Depends on the state that they're located in, really.
Well, I don't think it matters. No, they could fire them for. Well, you're right. They have to have like an at-will.
Yeah, if Image Corporation is located in a state that's not at-will work, then they can do that.
Portland is probably not. So, So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're gonna vote, and they'll recognize the CBWU, the Comic Book Workers Union. So yeah,
I was trying to figure out what that
big deal.
stood for, and it was bothering me that whole time you guys were talking about it.
Well, if anything, we've learned in comics, it's things like that are always hard and weird. Remember Hammer in Marvel Comics, and it never really stood for anything. It was just H dot, A dot, M dot, M dot, E dot. R
We'll
dot.
figure it
Remember
out
that?
later.
No, they never came up with anything. It was just Hammer.
I think they like literally said that in the dialogue in one of the comics.
Yeah,
That like
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So that's good news. I'm excited for this to happen. I really am. I just hope it leads to more.
I mean, it's a foot in the door, right?
We talk about it every week, how we want creators to have more power, and this is how it happens. This is the way it goes. We unify, we unite, and all workers should have a thing. Anyway, there's my anti-capitalism. Well, I guess there's another anti-capitalism. Avengers, X-Men, Spider-Man, over 70 Marvel titles are going to be delayed.
Yep.
Because of supply chain issues. So, yes, the system's still working the way the system is meant to work. November, December, January, and February are all being delayed up to 1 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
Because of
There's a
pandemic, book printing, everything that just has shifted all the shit we're going.
So
and notable
this
titles,
is happening. If this is happening to Marvel, what's going to happen with the small press?
Well, we already talked about Image is no longer doing second prints.
Yeah. Variant covers.
Oh no, they're still doing variant
Are
covers.
they doing variant covers?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that's they're talking about getting rid of that, but Hulk #1 and Venom #1, all 3 big books for at least the first quarter for Marvel are going to be delayed at least by 1 week. But man, that's a crap ton of books.
I mean, we should honestly expect to see this chain reaction continuing for probably like well into next year and possibly even into 2023.
Though the thing about it is, it sort of becomes like a logjam, you know, where people are going to be doing their holiday shopping. And if you don't do it now in the first week, second week of November, on a lot of things, you're just not going to get it by Christmas. But then from January through, March, they're going to be catching up with all those deliveries while the other deliveries are still backed up. And it's not just supply chain shortages. We have a worker shortage, which I think is a myth. I think we actually have a wage shortage where if these companies were actually paying people more, they would go back to work. Last month saw more people voluntarily leave their jobs than any month since they've been keeping track of people voluntarily leaving their jobs.
I think they're calling this the Great Resignation, perhaps, is the name that's been thrown out there.
Yeah, and everybody's painting it up like we're being hurt. We are being hurt, but that's how sacrifice works. And I really hate that people get shit on for wanting to leave terrible jobs, because that's the way the market is supposed to work. Supply and demand. If your job is in demand, then the supply of your compensation should go up. That's how the system works. And if they can't find people to fill these jobs, they need to think about what they're going to do to fill them. But they're not, obviously. They're not. Or all of our shit would be on time. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Anyway. So, yeah, that's the end of the anti-capitalist shit. Let's get back to the 90s. Last bit of news. Ghost Rider #1 has been announced, but Marvel is making a really big deal out of it. The 50th anniversary of Ghost Rider is this year. Well, next year, 2022. And it's going to be like a big, huge fucking parade of
that would kind of explain why
skulls
Venom
on
had a
motorcycles.
chain.
What?
That would kind of explain why Venom had a chain.
I don't think it's to do with that,
Venom
honestly.
had a chain. Well, maybe. Who knows?
It's a loose connection. I mean, if they wanted to like associate it with Ghost Rider, they would just fucking do it. They have no reason not to. Just like put Ghost Rider on the damn cover if they wanted to.
Is that the Frank Castle Ghost
They don't
Rider?
need to do like subtle hints to
the
it.
Cosmic
It's,
is Frank
yeah,
Castle, yeah.
That's
I love
Castle.
Yeah, that's
Ghost
Cosmic
Rider.
Ghost Rider. That's Johnny Blaze there in the front, who hasn't really been in the foreground for a really long time.
Yeah.
But
He was King of Hell for a long time, but now
true, but like he hasn't like I can't remember the last time he had an ongoing, you know?
Well, he had that little miniseries by Ed Bryson, who was finishing everything up with his full-on, Ghost Rider run, and it was solid. It was solid. But
Is
yeah,
that
Robbie,
Ghost Rider 2099 in the background?
up in the top left, isn't that him?
Yeah.
Isn't
And I
that
think that's like a Danny Ketch over Johnny's, his right shoulder,
yeah.
our left.
Yeah.
And I think that's 1 million BC Ghost Rider up there in the corner.
Oh, I thought who's on the horse then down here in the bottom?
Isn't that the original Ghost Rider?
Yeah, isn't that the
original Ghost Rider would be the Mammoth Rider that I'm talking about. But
yeah, but I mean, comic debut Ghost Rider, wouldn't it been on a horse, a cowboy on a horse, really?
He has like his own name. I just can't remember what it is right now. But yeah, there's a cowboy Ghost Rider, and that's who that is.
Yeah, and then there's the Native
Sam
American, who's the new one.
The Spirit Rider,
Yeah. I'm stoked, dude. It's going to be rad. Again, Ghost Rider #1 is due out in February. It's going to be a shit ton of variants. You already know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The creative team, Corey Smith is doing the art, who's fine. You're perfectly, capable of doing that. But Ben Percy.
Phantom Rider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ben Percy
That's a good
is killing
fit,
it on Wolverine, which is also a super 90s
he is
character.
murdering it on Wolverine.
Yeah.
I'm afraid
that gives me confidence, yeah.
I'm afraid this weekly X Lives, X Death, that's a hard thing to write. That is a hard thing to write and keep the reader's attention, because he's going to be going back and forth and interconnecting them. He's going to have to tell a hell of a story there.
Okay, the original Ghost Rider was the one on the horse, but he is also the white horse, the cowboy on the white horse.
Because there's a dark horse one back here, if you look, like in the upper left, and then there's like a fucking space one up here.
I'm thinking the space one of those has got to be 2099.
Oh, maybe that is 2099, the one in the top center, just to the left.
But the original Ghost Rider, or his original appearance, he was on a horse as a cowboy. He was also known as the Phantom Rider.
That's it. Yeah,
Phantom Rider.
But yeah, Ben Percy seems like a really great fit. I mean, that seems like Ghost Rider seems like right in his wheelhouse based off of the stuff he's been doing with Wolverine.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Yeah, this could be pretty cool.
So we have a somewhat of a solicit. Johnny Blaze has the perfect life, a wife, and 2 kids, a job in an auto
This is not
shop.
my beautiful house.
Yeah, and a small town community that supports him. But Johnny isn't doing well. He has nightmares of monsters when he sleeps, and he sees bloody visions when he's awake. This life is beginning to feel like a prison, and there's a spirit in him that's begging to break out.
That sounds an awful lot like that one episode of G.I. Joe with Shipwreck.
The one where he goes to like the town?
Yeah, and they just
I mean, it sounds like a lot of things, but yeah, so like somebody's like trapped Johnny into like an idyllic little situation, but we know that's not true because Johnny's life is shit.
It's Mephisto, you know it is.
Nobody traps Johnny.
Nobody puts Johnny in the corner. All right, let's do food news.
Yummy.
We're going to start with a review from Big D himself. He
Ah,
tried some of this shit today.
I did.
Mountain Dew Ginger Snap. How was it?
It is actually not bad. It is.
The hell you say?
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It is like you would expect it to be. It is like drinking a ginger snap cookie, which is almost like
to be terrible. And you say that it's good, so it's not like I expected it to be.
There's something going on.
If I had to liken it to anything, it's like drinking a very spicy ginger ale.
Spicy?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Spicy
Like,
ginger ale.
With a cinnamon kick is how I would best put it. A ginger ale with a cinnamon kick.
Yeah.
So where's the Mountain Dew come into play? Because none of what you described
just
sounds
on
like
the
Mountain
label.
Dew to me.
Just the label. And you this would be a good mixer, do you think, with some alcohol? Which kind of alcohol do you think you'd put in there?
I might put it with vodka.
You always say that. You have no imagination.
I like vodka.
What's up? Did you have another one? Did you have another
did.
one?
I had
Go
one
ahead.
from earlier in this week. I also found the thrashed apples,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
which will always be in my heart, gushing grannies.
Okay.
All right.
But
How was the drink?
How was the apple?
it was
Not your
actually
drink,
I
not
really
your
liked it. I actually liked it better than I liked the ginger snap one.
Nice.
It-
Nice. It's just sour apple drink.
It's just sour apples.
Jones Soda has a sour apple. That's
Jones
pretty
Soda
good,
does have a
actually.
sour apple. That's pretty
It's
good.
pretty good. It's pretty good.
but my favorite Jones soda is blue bubble gum. So
I like the Thanksgiving dinner one they have.
I'm never gonna get David saying "gushing grannies" out of my
Dude,
ears.
I'm gonna make that like an intro now. Just
God damn it.
isolate his audio.
Well, the gushing grannies was from a contest a while back where Mountain Dew had.
I don't want the context for
he's like,
gushing
got some
grannies,
more.
David.
He's
Just
got
let
some
it go.
more. All right, so food news this week. I did have one, but it's just too disgusting even for this segment. Zero sugar Ready Whip. Why the fuck? Kill me now.
gross. Yeah, why
For
would you want
diabetes.
that? That
For
defeats the whole
diabetic,
If you're
purpose.
gonna
you
put
wanna
whipped
whiz the
cream on
juice.
something, yeah, who are you kidding? You're kidding yourself if you're doing the zero sugar
Exactly.
version. I mean,
You're kidding
Diabetics, you want to
yourself.
huff.
Just stop. Yeah, right. Do some whippets. But yes, the actual food news this week is Christmas
oh my god, that's the most
Oh,
disgusting thing you've
that-
ever
that-
put on
hot
here.
dog candy cane.
That is almost as bad as the licorice flavored hot dogs that were out for Halloween.
Those were fake. Those were actually fake. So
Please take this
is,
off the screen.
This is Archie McPhee Company, McPhee.com. 6 red and white candy canes, hot dog flavoring.
Hey,
You'll-
kid, you want some
so
candy canes on
gross.
the tree?
The tagline is "You'll relish them."
They better have a relish aftertaste then.
Whoever made this needs to go to hell. Needs
Six-
to go straight to the 9th circle of hell right now.
$6.50 for a box of 6. They also have mac and cheese flavored, shiitake mushroom, kale, pho, and many more.
Pho, as in like faux noodles, like
Yeah,
Thai,
like the
the
Chinese
Thais.
food.
the
Am I
Thai
saying
dish?
that fucking wrong too?
No, you're not.
Harbinger.
He's just trying to clarify what you're saying. He
Harbanger.
wants to order a box.
Yeah, no shit. McPhee.com. Thanks for that.
But
one.
based off of those Mountain Dew recommendations,
Yeah,
I
right.
wouldn't put it past him.
All right. Yeah, if you find those, Dave, let me know. I'll buy one. I'll reimburse you through.
You
our
know,
PayPal.
for me, that was the worst food news segment we have ever done.
It was
Between
terrible.
David's Mountain Dew reviews and this fucking god awful hot dog candy cane.
bet
Don't
they're
forget
delicious.
zero sugar whipped cream.
Zero
Yeah,
sugar
that's
whipped
even
cream
worse.
is so far at the bottom of the
It's
list for
still
me here.
gross. It's still.
It's not, great, but it's so much better than these fucking candy canes.
All right, no moment of destruction this week, no TF stuff, and no toys. There was a tease for the new classifieds, and I'm so stoked for Dusty. Tomax is AMOT too, of course. Depends on what outfits they do. Don't fuck up the classic. Tomax and Zaymot's outfits, with like the matching mirror look. Don't fuck it up. Let's do top 3. I think I'm gonna go first this week. It's a shitty week. That's probably the best thing to do. Just have me go first. Top 3 books this week. My honorable mentions are books y'all are gonna pick because there were slim pickings this week. Dark Knights of Steel and Human Target were both solid.
Yeah, those are my top 3 by default. But yeah, I
by
enjoyed
default,
them
I figured. So we'll talk about those when they come around. My number 3, however, is a book called, I gotta find the cover, New Burn number 1, Zdarsky.
Hey, that's
and
my
Jacob
number
Phillips.
3.
Awesome.
Cool.
We're gonna hear that a lot. That was on my list too. There were like 4 comics that came out this fucking week. All right, there was nothing that came out.
Oh my gosh.
But Eaton Newburn, all right, he's an ex-cop, and now he's a private detective who is on retainer with every organized crime syndicate in the city.
As he described himself, he's a UN inspector in a war zone. Nobody touches him.
Yeah.
And he gives a fair and honest assessment of the crime to whoever pays him to investigate.
Yeah, so this is a really cool, dude, it gave, I don't know if you two read it. I know Dave read it, but Dave, did it not give you sort of an Encyclopedia Brown, all grown up sort of thing?
Kind of.
Because he was figuring out this case, like a Columbo,
Yeah, he was. Well, yeah, I was going to liken it more to a Columbo, but it was just like
Was that your Columbo impression?
One
That's
more
a fucking great Columbo. I just need a
one
trench
more
coat,
question.
motherfucker. That's a. Let me.
One more question.
One more question.
One
All
more
right,
question.
Yeah, that was a solid book. I mean, it's Zdarsky. He's fucking great, and he always has a cool book with a cool twist. And this one's a cool twist. He's kind of like a gangster cop. It's weird. It's
well,
really
they actually address that in the book because one of these cops says, "Why do you still do investigations when you could have been a cop doing investigations?" He's like, "Well, if I was taking money from the mafia when I was a cop, I'd be dirty. Now I'm not."
Now he's not a dirty cop. All right, so excellent choice, Gomer. Adam.
You can't compliment yourself.
Someone has to, I guess.
Yeah, no
Yes.
shit.
I mean, my
Someone's
pick's
gotta
not
do
very
it.
good. I will go ahead and tell you. Okay. So I only got 5 books this week. So
it's a light week, bro.
it is a light week.
So
Honorable
light
mentions. I'm only mentioning these because A, it's a light week, but B, the art is fantastic in both of these. It's Amazing Fantasy #4, Carrie Andrews,
not bad.
killing it on the art. And
I dropped
Batman.
this book. I lost my. Guillaume March, still doing the art.
Yeah,
No,
those are my
that's,
default
Jimenez.
honorable mentions too. So I guess I'll go ahead and mention them for my honorable mention here.
Who
but-
did the art on the Batman 118? Isn't it 118?
It's 116.
Oh, who did the art on it?
Jimenez.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and Jimenez has been killing it this whole arc.
Nice.
He's been doing some.
Yeah, he's
career work.
been holding down the fort for
Yeah.
the Batman book for a while.
But my actual #3 is a curveball out of nowhere. I only picked this book up because it was such a light week. Batman Superman Authority Special #1.
Oh wow, really?
Oh, I didn't
I
give this
know.
a second look. How
Who
was
wrote
it?
it?
This was actually it's Philip Kennedy Johnson, so
Oh,
it's
not
going off
bad.
of his Action Comics run.
Yeah.
It's all one complete story, so it's a one shot basically.
Nice,
But
nice.
and you're gonna sigh when you hear the story because there's a whole bunch of shit that's really going on this whole past.
Isn't it the Authority get to War World?
No, that's what's going to happen. This happens
Oh.
before that.
Oh, okay.
So there's another universe in the Dark Multiverse.
When is there not
God,
another
you already
Exactly.
lost
See,
me.
exactly. See,
He's another one. No, they
Yeah,
all
where-
fucking blew up. I was there.
where
damn
they
it.
they were
They
conquered
all
by
blew
the
up.
Empire of Shadows, which is
Oh
like
my
the League of
God.
Shadows, exactly on steroids.
Dude, they all became Gotham Island. Remember
and,
that
and
battle
they
world? for
captured one of
DC?
the Fusionauts, which is one of those
Oh,
Watcher
no.
ripoffs. You remember?
I thought there was only one of those.
Yeah. Well, they captured him.
So
And they
This has been a real Mad Lib of like weird setup that you've been hitting us with so far.
Exactly. And they torture him and they figure out where Earth Prime is, and they kill him and turn his body into a transportation device
that's
to
pretty cool.
try to transport them to Earth Prime.
That's pretty fun.
Batman knows about this because Fusionite like warns him before he dies. And so Batman gets the authority to try to go, and they fight and they do all kinds of shit. And
Man.
what's really cool about it is that it has 2 different artists in it. So whenever they're in the Dark Multiverse, they have Ben Templesmith doing the art.
Oh, nice.
And so that
That's
stuff.
Mouse Guard, right? Isn't that the
Uh,
Mouse Guard guy?
I don't
Ben
remember.
Templesmith?
I don't know.
I don't
but,
think so.
I think wasn't he like 30 Days a Night?
Ben, why don't you Google
Yeah,
it, man?
I think
You're
so.
our
He
facts
does all
man,
the
Dave.
dark horror stuff.
our
And
facts,
so
man.
whenever they're in that universe, the art is just so amazing. And it's there's also a couple of cool character
Mouse Guard
moments
is
in here.
David Peterson, David. Or, Gomer,
Yeah,
I guess.
there's
is
also
the one who
some
actually
cool
has-
Oh, well, you can
moments
see
in
my
here.
mistake.
Yeah.
Because this is also the first meeting of Batman and Midnighter.
They've never met before?
They've never met before, so this is the first time they've ever met.
Which is weird because Midnighter is basically just Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a
and that's
Batman
what they're
ripoff.
going the whole time.
Yeah.
The whole time in this book, Midnighter's like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get why people like Batman so much.
He is the artist
I
on
am
30
so
Days
much
a
harder
Night.
than Batman.
Okay.
I kill people. I have a much cooler suit. I have this cool nanotechnology. Why
That's
does everybody
cool.
like Batman? And then Batman
That's
always
fun.
ones up them all through it. And by the end, he's like, "Oh, I guess I get it."
That's fun.
But,
But
I don't
wow,
know. It was
having 2 guys with no powers at all going to fight the Dark Multiverse again, it just makes no sense to me at all.
yeah, it was dumb.
Do Superman and
but, you know-
Batman talk about how like Apollo and Midnighter are like a married couple version of them?
I love that, dude.
They don't really
I
bring up
love
the
that.
Apollo side, but they definitely bring up the similarities between Midnighter and Batman.
Nice. All right, Dave.
It was interesting. I
No,
would
that's
not have
fair.
given that a second look if it wasn't such a slow
light
week.
week. All right, Dave. How many honorable mentions do you have?
I have 3.
Jeez.
Names only.
Yeah, you're just
Okay.
gonna have to rapid fire your honorables.
Okay, A Thing Called Truth.
I didn't like it. It was just.
I thought that was pretty. It's a pretty good premise.
You don't even let him get one in before you start shitting on them.
I didn't
Comer.
like it. I'm just being honest. I did not care. It was. I mean, the art was nice. It had some
The
good
art was
design,
very good,
but I didn't relate
but
to the
it's
story
very
at all.
interesting story going on.
Other honorable mentions.
Knighted #1 from AWA. Basically, Batman meets the Santa Claus.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Other honorable mention.
My last honorable mention will be Soul Plumbers #2.
Number 3.
My number three. My
I
number
hate
3
your
was New
books.
Bern.
I hate everything you read.
My number 3 was New Bern.
Dude, what a great book
It
that
was a great book.
Great pick.
It was
Yeah.
so good.
Your
was
taste
really
is
good.
terrible, David. Great pick.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's Jacob Phillips, man. That dude's
Yeah.
awesome. He
Oh
just-
yeah, you can't go wrong
Very-
with
just
him.
classic,
Just
comic
very,
booking.
very
I love
crime
it.
noir
Yeah,
feel to it.
yeah.
I do like the fact that he's a private detective for the mafia.
For the not just like
all
the
the mafia.
all of the organized crime syndicates.
He's
He
like,
works
which
for
house,
all of them.
Which house called you? And I like that interaction between him and one of the mob bosses. He's like, "Well, did you find out anything?" He like calls him like an hour into the investigation. Like, did
Yeah.
you find out anything else? He's like, your father didn't call me when I was working on
Yeah,
these
he's like, your father and
investigations."
I had a deal. I'll call him when he needs to know, and then he hangs up on him. And he's like,
You
"You mother,
little fucker! You don't
Yeah.
talk to me like
you don't
that.
talk to me. Get out of here. Forget about it."
But yeah,
that
it
sound-
but it had a really
You're
really,
just
a really
killing
nice
it with the
little-
impressions today.
I
Go for it.
know. Yeah.
It did have a really good twist at the end of it because the criminal in this issue.
Oh, I knew she was guilty immediately because, like I said, I've read every Encyclopedia Brown book that dude's put out. I knew immediately. I was like, "Oh, she did it. She
Yeah.
obviously did it." But it was fun watching him get there.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was-
One other thing. One more question.
One more question.
One more question.
Taylor, honorable mention if you even have one this week.
Honorable mentions are the same as Adam's. Batman and Amazing Fantasy by default. Amazing Fantasy is a fun idea, but
It
Follow
hasn't really
through's a
panned
little
out.
bad.
Not
I
really-
like
the follow-through's
I like
not
the
too
Ben
great,
Parker
yeah.
heel turn in it, but
yeah,
It's
like
still-
that is worth mentioning, I guess, real quick. That Ben Parker is like a fucking cold motherfucker in this.
Awesome.
No
Maybe
amount
I'll
of
go back just for
underwear
that.
playtime is going to make up for the fact that you fucking killed me, Peter. Is more or less what he
Wow.
tells him.
He
Yeah,
says
Yes.
that.
yes,
Basically.
he does.
Oh,
he does.
smack! Nice.
yeah. But anyway, my number 3 is going to be Rocket and Icon number
Oh,
4.
cool. Yeah, I
Um,
skipped this week.
This is a fun book. It's got good artwork. This one had a lot of cool action scenes. Like they're saving Rocket's mom from some sort of fucking alien. Actually, yeah, it's Martian Manhunter. Apparently, they even call him
Oh,
the Manhunter
cool.
from Mars.
Oh,
But
fun.
yeah, I mean, it's a light week. This probably would not have been in my top 3, but it would have been an honorable mention in most weeks. But
Cool.
it's fun. Not much else to say about it.
I like how we all have to temper, our recommendations.
It's a light week. Don't judge me on
Yeah,
this.
we are
decision.
really like lowering the bar.
I mean, you
this
guys
week.
say that the 3 books I picked from my top 3, I would suggest to anybody read because we're getting to my number 2 right now. Primordial, number 2, Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, just solid again. This is what if during the space race the dogs that the cosmonaut Russians sent up and the American astronauts sent up, chimps. What if they went through a strange, crazy portal, became smart, and like we're talking and hanging out with each other? I know it
That
sounds
sounds awesome.
it is. It's real. I mean, none of that has actually happened yet.
But
that's
it
the
looks
gist
rad
of
as
it.
hell, right? And it's Jeff
Oh my
Lemire, so
God.
you know it's going to be good.
Look at this. I mean, the way Sorrentino just wraps up like 2 completely different art styles. Like he's got this art style, right? That's all faded. But then if you look at this, like see the dog like in the background there made up like of a collage. That's a different style. And then he's got this style, where he's doing these.
which is like the Donnie Darko kind of thing.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it. It does remind me a lot of, of that sort of style, but quite good. Just, I mean, you can't beat this team. I'll read anything they ever do together. I'll read anything Jeff Lemire ever does, but
Oh, pretty much.
you
Oh,
put
yeah, definitely.
Sorrentino on any book with
I
him, and
mean,
it just
Jeff
becomes
Lemire's
something
like
else.
batting average is like astounding.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever read anything he's done that. Well, the Unteens is shit.
Yeah, the
Black
Unteens are
Hammer
pretty.
Unteens.
Well,
It's
he
terrible.
also
That's
has
not great.
some DC work that is
he
not
did
great.
he did a Hulk one shot when they were doing all those Immortal Hulk one shots. He
Yeah.
had one of those. It was just okay, but
Still, the guy
it's like
does
Pixar,
But still,
right? It's like
all of his
Pixar.
shit's great.
Oh yes, all and the stuff he does on his own, like that maze book he's doing right now, is
Mhm.
incredible.
Yes, that is
Underwater Welder. I
cool.
mean, if you guys haven't read Underwater Welder, I will get you a digital copy because it is brilliant. I mean, it'll have you, so depressed by the end of it, but that's just the magic of the
really
weird.
selling us on the book there, Gomer.
It's okay to be depressed. What is wrong?
Fair
with
enough,
reading a
fair
sad
enough.
It's
Like,
okay. It's
a good
okay to
sad
have
story,
bad
I guess.
feelings from
Sad
time to
movies
time.
are great. It's
I'm just
okay.
saying though, like you're like, guys, you will feel like
You will
shit
feel
when you
like
are
so
done reading this
shitty,
book.
man. Yeah, you will hate this, but
But
in
no,
the
I get
best
that.
way.
Like I always say about nightly news that like I don't like it, but it's good.
Yeah. Oh man, my nightly news. I have it in issues. Like my issue 1, like the staples are
Oh,
coming out of
no.
it. I've read it so much. Yeah. That brings us to Adam and his number 2.
Number 2, Dark Knights of Steel, number 1.
It was rad.
It was cool. It had some cool art.
It looks like
I'll
Adam and I
say.
are gonna swap around our 2 and 1 this week. I'm guessing this one was my
Nice.
number 1.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it has some cool art. It has some cool reinterpretation of DC characters. I find it interesting that the whole L family made it to Earth, and they're
That's the
now
biggest twist.
yeah,
Because
and
now-
they basically conquered it.
Yeah.
That said, I don't like the twist with Batman there. At the
Oh, I
end.
love
Yeah,
it.
it's kind of a.
Go ahead,
It's an.
Taylor.
It is an odd take because that is like a
No!
core of like
I think it's
Batman's. Just because it's such a core of Batman's character that his parents were murdered. But hey, you know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, he just watched his parent get murdered. So
Exactly. But
Yeah, but
it has this great Game of Thrones sort of, air to it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's.
I
the
guess if you're gonna
drama.
do an Elseworlds title, you might as well, shake up the formula a little bit.
And
And honestly, I
that-
did like the whole thing where like that's one of those things where like you always like question why did they just make a fucking escape rocket big enough for an infant? Why didn't they like build
Yeah,
one big enough for
right.
the whole family? And
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where you actually do see the whole family. Or I was like, oh yeah, I guess
hey.
it was kind of the obvious thing to do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Jor-El didn't know that the planet was going to explode a lot.
Yes, he did. That was the whole point. This is the only one who knew.
He's the only one who knew.
I'm a
but
scientist. I only have enough money to make a rocket.
Yeah, how am I supposed to afford a rocket for 3 on a scientist salary? Come on.
That's as plausible as any other reason
Who
I've
am I,
ever
General
heard for them
Zod?
not building a bigger
Military
rocket.
budget? Yeah.
But yeah, it's this issue still had some cool, re-characterizations of characters. I liked Black Canary being Banshee. That was interesting. I really liked whatever was going on with Green Arrow and Green Lantern.
Dude, I love that
Killing-
they're teaming up in this Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Of their connection. They're.
Yeah.
I think they're leaning in. I think Taylor's going to lean into that a lot going forward.
I hope
This-
they lean into it heavily. In
Oh,
this
me
series
too.
going
Yeah, I
forward.
like things like Harley Quinn being the court
The
jester.
gesture,
I like
it's
the,
almost
talking
too
shit.
simple. It's
Yeah.
almost too easy.
Yeah.
But it works.
yeah, but
so
like
well.
it's low hanging fruit that you gotta like grab.
Well, this whole book is low-hanging fruit, honestly.
It is, but
I don't know.
I
think
don't
it's a
like it when
really
people
unique
like
idea.
don't do the obvious thing because it's too obvious. I mean, if you're gonna make a medieval story, you might as well do the things that are the most appropriate things to do.
Oh, without a doubt, 100%. All right, and we're looking at this like in a sword and sorcery fantasy sort of thing. If you look at modern day fantasies, there's always that fucking drama where the king fucks somebody else and he's got a squire now who's his bastard.
Yeah, but
the
my big whole-
bastard,
Yeah,
that is like a trope now, and I'm not
that
blaming
is
George
a
R. R.
trope, and
Martin
it
for that.
always happens. I just don't like Batman.
That's
having
Arthurian, ain't it?
superpowers.
That's pretty
Yeah, I
Arthurian.
think that
That's a
is
fair
Arthurian.
point, but I like the whole warring kingdoms like drama we
Yes.
have going on, and like I like how you can still kind of like
being a king. That's an interesting choice.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
like I thought it was. Well, I guess we were talking about low hanging fruit. I thought it was actually kind of an interesting twist to make it where the rival kingdom isn't villains, right? It's a bunch of characters that like we're used to seeing as heroes, and maybe we'll get their perspective at some point where they actually are. I don't know. It's an interesting enough setup that I'm intrigued to see where it's going.
I'm interested to see where they're going to take. Are they going to have Clark and Bruce, going at each other? It's weird that Clark is almost in this weird John role in this, where his parents are still alive, and
That's true.
Pa Kent, these are the king and the queen, motherfucker. This is big shit going down.
And I do appreciate that, like, the characters were still like fairly true to their cores, right?
Yes.
Like Batman's like hyper competent. He's got like all the Robins running around. Like,
I really liked Alfred.
I really
Oh,
liked
for
Alfred.
sure,
Alfred was great.
for sure.
Sassy Alfred is the best Alfred.
Yeah.
And I did like, Clark is still like, like, oh, I don't want to hurt her, like type of thing. So, although maybe he's changed his mind after that happened, I don't know. But
We'll see.
yeah,
it's just going to be very interesting.
it was a solid entry. I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going.
Yeah.
And, we talked already
more,
about,
which is definitely something you want coming out of the first.
A
Yeah,
war,
so.
a big kingdom versus kingdom sort of thing.
we've talked a lot about how Tom Taylor really shines when you give him a setting where he can just do fucking anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm definitely
I'm
on board for the
interested-
next little while here.
I'm interested in the royal drama because Bruce now knows that he is a prince. There's Prince Clark, and now the king is dead. Who takes
Possibly the
throne?
only one who knew the truth other than Bruce now.
Tom Taylor does it again. Pound for pound, the best writer in comics today. Dave. Come on, Dave. Get with it. He's like, fuck that book. I'm sleeping.
Frontier
read
Man
that book?
number 2. No, I didn't.
What book?
Frontier Man number 2.
Oh, I have some shots of Frontier Man. Just okay, but man, they did some great
It
things
was
with the design here.
just the art in this
Yeah.
book sold me for it. But this character that Frontier Man is fighting is essentially a Dr. Manhattan level type villain.
Yeah.
And all he wants to do is talk to Frontier Man because he wants to find a member of the Travelers, which was the Frontier Man's team of superheroes.
Yeah, like the old Justice, like a Justice League back.
He's just like, I'm just here to talk, and it's like every time you hit me, it's just gonna phase through me.
Yeah.
And he essentially the guy's called Galaxy. He essentially absorbs Frontier Man, so Frontier Man will stop fighting him, so he can have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And they
They talk about ecology.
they talk about ecology, but they also talk about being fathers.
SJW shit.
They talk about being parents because he was like, that's where they started to really connect was when Galaxy said, well, she and I have a child. And he's like, well, it's not my business to get involved with that. And he's like, no, you don't understand. I want the child to meet its mother. And he's like, what? And so this Galaxy's character has another galaxy growing inside of him.
It's weird, man.
It's weird, but it's just this whole thing where these two were enemies at one point in time, and all it is like, your friend was the first person that treated me like a person more than a cosmic entity, and made me give me a sense of self-worth, and I want to talk to her because it's important.
The rest of the story is weird, though, man.
Yeah, the rest of the story is weird, but now
Not great.
but they were introducing some villains now
Yeah.
that have scores to settle with Frontier Man, and there's like the guy that is like the lumberjack,
Yeah.
the antithesis of Frontier Man, and he's just like, where is he?
I'm gonna go chop. He's in a tree.
He's
And
in a
tree.
That's
Chopping
one of
a
those
tree.
splendid little sentences that you only get when you're talking about comic books, I suppose.
Yeah, but this was great sequential art, and it was tied to a fight that the villain didn't want to have with the superhero. It's just the villain showed up and said, you're the only person I know who can get in touch with it, and I just want to talk. And
It
eventually
was fun. They had like this moment where they related to each other.
they had a
on
moment of
a cool
connection where
level.
they realized that they're both fathers and they just want to do what's right for their kids.
Awesome. Not a bad choice. Again, that art is very fun in that book. It's very interesting shit. So, Taylor number 2. I think you already.
Yeah, my number 2 was Human Target number 1.
Pretty solid.
Yeah. Greg Smallwood is definitely the star of the show here. He does some really great art from beginning to end. I also like the way that Tom King is giving kind of like this deadpan humor to our protagonist here, Christopher Chance. Tom King has done a lot of good work with these little like Z tier characters that no one gives a shit about, and just like doing what he wants with them. And yeah, I think this is the start of a similar run here, or at least I hope it is. Yeah, it was a solid debut. I'm looking forward to the next issue, if for no other reason, to look at some more of this sweet, sweet Smallwood art.
Yeah, the Smallwood art is definitely the reason to buy here. Just looking at this page here, you can see what he's doing with negative space and layering. I mean, that's just comic book masterclass shit right here. Just with a little bit of white lines, the white space, he's able to set and frame the page in a way that just really helps you sequence the story. You know what I mean? To read it and see it in just this awesome way. And then he does shit like this where it's just, character and everybody just looks fucking amazing.
That looks really good.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it was solid, but just because of the Smallwood art, I don't like I don't know. I don't know if I like this character. I don't know if I like what he just got shot and he was okay with it. I mean, why? Well,
I mean, that's
what?
the whole reason he was there was
It's
to take.
weird.
That's like the
No, I
premise of
know.
the character.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
He's a human target, Gomer.
I don't get it.
He's a
don't
body
understand.
double. That's like how he earns a living. Is like.
I understand the definition. I
Then
understand
what's
the
not
words.
to get?
But I don't know. I don't get the appeal. I don't understand how that works.
Well, I mean, the character's been out of continuity for like 40 fucking years, so I
No,
guess
that-
a lot of
look,
people saw
there
the
have been
appeal. But
There have been a couple of Human Target books.
sure, they probably publish it every now and then just so they can keep the licensing.
Sure,
but that's part of the reason you even see this character is he's picking up on someone who like people might be vaguely aware of, but is not like a mainstream character.
I don't know. The dude's power is that he doesn't die.
No, he doesn't have a power.
So what is he?
He's just a dude.
Was he wearing a bulletproof vest?
Yes, damn it.
I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't understand. They're in here in this book literally making jokes. I guess it's a joke where, are you going to call Batman? And he's like, no, I'm not going to call Batman. Why are they making that joke? Because we know Batman will actually solve the crime. He's the greatest detective in the world. I don't know who this fucking silver hair motherfucker is. I don't know who this guy is. I know who Greg Smallwood is, and that's the reason I picked this up. I don't know who Christopher Chance is. Is he James Bond? Is he working for somebody? He drinks good scotch. That's awesome. I like when he was talking about
there's not. It's a one sentence premise, Gomer. There's not much else to say.
I know. I just don't get it. But again,
just move on.
Look at that.
Yes, great art.
You just gotta talk shit on everybody's.
I'm not talking shit. I'm being honest. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Read the fucking Wikipedia page. Move on.
Right. All right, number one.
Yeah, you're number one. You're
Joshua
shitty number
Williamson.
one.
Oh, dude,
let's see this shit. This terrible
was
shit of yours.
Spectacular.
Okay, it's
Actually, that's
kind of a
probably
solid
really
pick,
great, yeah.
Silver coin number 6, Joshua Williamson and Michael Walsh. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about a cursed coin, and every issue is just a story, a one-shot story that revolves around this coin. This little boy's playing what amounts to Mortal Kombat and getting his ass kicked. He goes and gets the coin. It actually sort of calls to him, like it has for other issues. He gets it, he plays, and he's undefeated. It gets to be the end of the day. The asshole clerk who was making fun of him earlier goes and, picks on him again, and he murders that motherfucker. And it's great. And he actually becomes a character in the game. Like the arcade opens the next day, and
he's able to be selected.
He's a playable character. Yeah. And it was just this awesome, it reminded me of Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side, that sort of shit. Even, Crypt Keeper and stuff, just fucking great, dude.
It's been pretty good.
Probably the best issue yet. It was very well done, man. Very well done. And again, this is an anthology series that Michael Walsh is doing, but it's a little bit of a twist. Usually these are the same writer with a bunch of different artists. This is the same artist with a different writer on each one, and it is a murderer's row, as Taylor likes to put it very nicely, of creators. Man, it's super well done, and yeah, I'm glad I picked it up. That was my number one. Adam, number one.
Well, I like Gomer. I'm also off the Tom King train, and I don't get Human Target.
Yeah.
So my number one was Swamp Thing number 9.
Oh, nice choice. Nice choice.
Yeah.
This is almost the last issue, right?
This is the penultimate issue. Even though this series did get an extension, there's a
they're doing
2.
a season 2.
So that is exciting. But yeah, this is the penultimate issue.
Actually, I think today is Ram V's birthday. Actually,
maybe.
I'm friends with him on Facebook.
It's a good book. He wrote a good book. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I don't think he's, but I'll share it. I'll share it with him later.
Yeah, but the big winner here is Mike Perkins' art, as always. He just does some killer, just body horror, just monster art. But yeah, this is the penultimate issue, so it's everybody getting together for the big final confrontation at the end. Everybody's converging on the evil corporation that kidnapped Swamp Thing's girlfriend. And they're having a big monster fight.
Nice.
With cool art. What else do you want?
Yeah.
Kaiju.
Not there yet. Maybe
Swamp
season
Thing
2.
could technically be a kaiju. I'm sure.
He could be.
I'm pretty
He was at one point during Brightest Day. He was like the size of a
building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. All right, Dave. Lay it on us. Numero uno. Something none of us have heard of.
Number 3.
What is it?
Orphan and the 5 Beasts number 3.
Oh, is this
been
the
a little
Steve
while
Scroce book?
Yeah, that's the James Stokey book.
It's like the Kung Fu
James
Monster
Stokey.
book.
It's the James Stokey, not Steve Scroce.
It's
Oh my fucking god, Gomer.
No, I get those two
been-
mixed up. The art is very similar.
The art is great in this book.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since it's between issues. But our orphan and her now gang of bandits that she essentially liberated from issue 2 have made their way to another town. And apparently there's a really nice diner in town where people eat the food and become severely addicted to it. And this is apparently one of the 5 beasts. It's the chef.
Fun.
And
They
there's
kick his ass.
They don't kick his ass yet.
Oh, cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's it had a very interesting twist on the soil. That was why the food was very addictive.
Oh, it's people.
It was a Soylent Green kind of twist.
Is it Soylent Green? Yeah.
It is a Soylent Green kind of twist to it, but it's not people.
What is it?
It's
yeah. What is it? I'm not going to read it.
Okay. It is actually the chef. He's one of the 5 beasts, and apparently he can regenerate himself. Like
so he's just like cutting
He's
himself
just
off.
cutting slabs.
He's doing the Deadpool thing.
He's doing the Deadpool thing, and the meat is addictive, and he can control people through the food that they eat.
Oh,
gross.
That's actually really twisted and cool, though. Man.
But it was just like Mo is a vegetarian, and this like really upsets this guy. His name's like Chopper 10. He's like, "Won't you try some of the meats, please?" And she's like, "I'm actually a vegetarian." He's like, "Oh, I have offended you." It's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty glaring flaw in his evil plan, I gotta say. Anyone who's like,
but
anybody who's
vegan or whatever.
Because she's like, Mo comes to the realization as to what the meat. Well, she thought the meat was people. She's like, "Townspeople, stop eating the food. It's your neighbors." And she breaks into the kitchen, and there's like a guy just cutting slices off of the chef's arm. And he's like, "Oh, you found out my secrets. Why the meat's so delicious."
I like how you put your own voices on it.
But Adam's just got me thinking about how Deadpool and that Uncanny X-Force from years back kept Angel alive by doing that.
Rick Remender, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome shit.
Open wide. Here comes the train.
My number one was already mentioned. It was Dark Knights of Steel #1 from Tom Taylor.
Solid book. 12-issue maxi. Well, I don't even use that word anymore.
Limited series.
So yeah, I'm in for the whole thing. He's got a lot of time to do a whole lot of shit, man. We're gonna be talking about this book for the next 12 months.
Maybe longer.
Oh yeah, sure, maybe longer. I don't know. The art's not that great. I'm sure they'd catch up.
I mean, we'll be talking about the next 11 issues, but God knows how long it's going to be until issue 12 ships, you know?
Yeah.
Yasmin
Supply
Putri.
chain.
The art was actually really good on that book too. Yasmin Putri. pulled
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
off.
the art was great.
I'm not familiar with her, but she really killed it here. This is some
Yeah.
great artwork.
So yeah, we talk shit, but the books that we all chose were actually really good. I mean, I don't know about.
I
some
mean,
people.
true. It was a thin week, but I did very much enjoy all the books that I did read.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This is the kind of environment that I kind of thrive in.
Oh yeah, the indie when it's a heavy indie market. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure, dude, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know when they made that switch. It always used to be that the last Wednesday of the month was like the leftovers and just you didn't get much. But now they throw fucking everything last Wednesday of the month.
I'm not sure what's up with that either.
They make it very backloaded nowadays,
and I'm fine with that.
at least
but
in terms of number of books shipped.
I really wish they'd space it out. You know, I would have liked to have.
Yeah.
Like because they had 4 X books last week. All they had was X-Men Legends, which really isn't an X book, you know, because it's not in continuity. But that's all they had this week, and it was solid. You know, it's good. I think it was the Hama. You know, yeah, it was Larry Hama still doing Wolverine.
Oh,
So
that'd
it
be
was
cool, yeah.
solid, but yeah. Anyway, we got another big week to talk about next week. We're gonna do that tomorrow night on the Monday show where we talk about all the new books coming out that week. Go to outrightgeeky.com. We got a whole shit ton of links to all kinds of different stuff that we've got going on. We're streaming here all week, doing all kinds of different things. The Bullies skipped a week last week for Halloween, but they are back this week. They're going to talk about Eternals, probably go in depth into Eternals, a lot more than we did.
Definitely a lot more than we did, considering Taylor's the only one who watched it.
Yeah, I mean, you fucking slackers here.
And I shit all over it and still didn't see it. And I didn't. I was kind of nice to it anyway.
I did enjoy it, and I guess that's, bottom line.
Yeah, for sure.
But I enjoy all the Marvel movies, so I guess,
Yeah,
Taylor
you're
said so.
skewed view.
I am an easy lay for these MCU movies.
And on that note, we want to thank everybody for hanging out. We really appreciate it. But most of all, thank these jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Oh, are we not doing the 3 Jokers thing anymore?
Oh, I have it. Hold on, I have it.
No, it's fine. I was just wondering if we were
why
doing
did you remind him?
Thanks to these 3 jokers for hanging out with this
I mean, it's
joker.
fine. I mean,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
We're going to do it again. Next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
He threw you like the knuckleball on that one.
I
Didn't know when
did.
it was
He wasn't
really
ready.
coming.
He had kind of a hiccup.